All right, let's pivot to Section 3, Path 2, Finding Line IDs.
Now go ahead and put on your hacker hoodie because we are going behind the scenes and bypassing that physical phone entirely. The absolute first thing we have to do for this backend method is log into the REX IP-PBX with an admin account. Why? Because to the underlying system, your phone isn't really extension 680 or extension 600. That is just a friendly label for humans. To inject our Wakeup command, we need to know the system's true internal name for your device, which is called the line_ID. By inputting a very specific XML command right into our browser's URL bar, specifically, we're querying ID 4000. The PBX spits back this raw XML document. And if you look closely at the output, the friendly analog extension number 680 is actually firmly mapped to line ID 1. This is the secret handshake. We now know for sure that if we want to manipulate extension 680, we absolutely have to target line ID 1.
And this works for IP extensions too, just with a slightly different query, for ID 4020. Scanning through that output, we can see that IP extension 600 is recognized internally by the system as line ID 13. So whether you're dealing with analog or IP, securing this line ID is the absolute prerequisite to commanding the network.
Which brings us to Section 4, Path 2, Setting ID 853.
Now that we finally have our target's internal coordinates, we can move to the actual configuration phase. To inject our desired wake-up time, we have to know exactly what variable controls the alarm clock. Well, according to the documentation, that magic variable is ID 853, which is also known in the system as wakeup_n. This right here is our target. This is the exact parameter we have to manipulate to set the time.
But let's check out the initial state of the system before we change anything at all. We fire off a query specifically looking at ID 853 on our target, line ID 1. Notice the value there? It is totally empty, just a blank set of quotes. The system currently has 0 wake-up time scheduled for this phone. It's a complete blank slate. So now for the really satisfying moment where we take control. We fire off our set command via the URL bar, telling the system to configure ID 853 to equal 1025 for line_ID 1. Checking the XML response that comes back, right at the top, we get a status saying, OK, the REX IP-PBX has accepted our command. We've completely bypassed the phone and written our will directly into the system's brain. But, as any good sysadmin knows, you always verify. So, we run our get command one more time, just to check the parameter. And, boom, we have visual confirmation. The parameter ID 853 now securely holds the value of 1025. The trap is officially set.
Finally, Section 5, the Scheduled Notification.
You see, whether you casually tapped some buttons on your desk phone or meticulously injected XML code as a back-end administrator, the REX system treats both of those inputs with equal respect. At exactly 10:25 a.m., the physical hardware on the desk rings. The user lifts the handset, fully expecting to start their day, and they hear this exact, undeniable robotic phrase, "Hello, this is your scheduled notification."